Guys, Navar here from the Better Human Project. I'm just going to go over the 16 personalities, just to give you a little rundown of the importance of the 16 personalities, what it is, and then show you what steps to take for this piece of homework. So let's dive straight into it. Firstly, what we're going to do is the overview. So the idea of the 16 personalities is to gain a sense of self-awareness. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the 16 personalities and we're going to use questioning as well to gain a sense of self-awareness. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness allows you to live life on your terms. It allows you to live an inspiring life, know your purpose, have the relationships you dream of, the family of your dreams, career of your dreams, success, happiness, fulfillment, health, well-being, confidence, strength, and resilience. The reason why we dive over self-awareness first is because a lot of the time we live our life on other people's ideals. We don't live life on our terms. So what we're going to do first is we're going to figure out who you are, get you congruent with yourself, get you understanding who you are as a person, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and what you want to do within your life, so then you can set your goals off of who you are and what you want to achieve in life. So Carl Jung talks about reaching a sense of wholeness is by creating consciousness and being conscious of the unconscious. So until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And so the idea is, if we're unconscious, if we're not conscious of our unconscious mind and who we are as a person, then we're going to be living life off of other people's ideals and off of other people's beliefs and values and goals as well. So the idea is to become conscious of the unconscious, be conscious of your subconscious habits and what you do on a daily basis, so then you could guide yourself into achieving what you want to achieve in your life. So how do you achieve self-awareness? So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into explain who Carl Jung is, and then also Catherine Cook Briggs and Isabel Myers-Briggs. So firstly, Carl Jung in the early 1900s worked with Sigmund Freud to create the International Psychoanalytical Association. So Carl Jung believed that wholeness was only created when the unconscious became conscious, like I explained in the previous slide. So how did Carl Jung help bring the unconscious to consciousness? So back in the 1900s, he believed in synchronicity. So there are no random events, only meaningful coincidences. He believed in universal wholeness, that everything happened for a purpose, that everything had a meaning behind it. Then the collective unconsciousness. So unconscious mind, which are shared among beings of the same species. So for example, birds that know how to fly from a young age, they throw off and they learn how to fly straight away, or they all flock to the same area. That is a collective unconsciousness. The psychological complex. An emotional event occurs in the area of your life and you gain a complex surrounding such events and areas. So like fear and what have you. So if an event happens, an emotional event happens, you then create a complex surrounding that event or that area. So like a dog attacks you, you get bitten by a dog, you have a fear, you have a complex around dogs. Extroversion, introversion, and ambiversion. We all know that we've heard of people that are extroverts or introverts. Ambiversion is the middle ground. People that are extroverts and introverts. So energy and focus on the external world or the internal world, we'll dive into that a little bit later. And then the Jungian archetypes. So archetypes created from the collective unconsciousness, which is what we're going to dive into about the 16 personalities today anyway. So who was Catherine Cook Briggs and Isabel Myers-Briggs? So Catherine Cook Briggs was a teacher who was interested in archetypes and personality types. Although it wasn't until her daughter Isabel married Clarence Chief Myers and noticing how different Clarence was to the rest of the family that she started to use her knowledge and create her own theory of personality types. So what happened was Catherine Cook Briggs was massive into personality types, but it wasn't archetypes, but it wasn't until her daughter married another bloke and this guy was completely different to her family that she became interested in understanding who he was as a person and how come he was so different to the rest of the family. And this just really ingrained her passion for personality typing. So in 1917, she created 4 personality types of her own, which is the meditative type, spontaneous type, executive type, and the sociable type. But in the 1923, Catherine read the work of Carl Jung and then decided his ideas could help people make better life choices and put individual differences in a positive light. She shared this knowledge with her daughter Isabel Myers-Briggs, who then gained the love for type watching as well. And so her idea was there was a lot of conflict and a lot of resentment towards other people, lack of understanding, and because of that lack of understanding, that's what caused a lot of miscommunication, a lot of pain between human beings, because they weren't able to understand individual differences, and so they project and they weren't able to see the differences in a positive light. So then this started a 20-year journey of type watching between the two of them, between Catherine and Isabel. In the 1945, they created their first test that would help identify a person's appropriate war-related job. Because this is in World War II, a lot of people, especially like the people that were stuck behind and people that weren't going to war, they're struggling to find jobs that were specific to that person that they were able to do to help out within the war. And so they created the Myers-Briggs type indicator test. So what is personality typing? So the 16 personality mixes the MBTI and big 5 personality traits. They do this because if you look at purely the personality types, it misses the traits and the percentages between the traits. And then same goes to the trait typing. So if you look at purely a trait like extroversion or introversion, you're missing out on the whole entire personality type that matches all 5 traits together. So the 16 personality looks at all 5 traits, how dominant you are in each trait, so the percentage of how far into extroversion you are in comparison to introversion, and then places you within a personality type that's most likely congruent to you. So what other traits? Traits are introvert or extrovert. So it's the very first one. And this is how we interact with our surroundings. So if we're introverted, we're more likely to look internally, and we're more likely to look at certain experiences as how it reflects on us. Where if you're extroverted, you're more likely to look at how it affects other people around you, and you gain energy from those around you, not from internally. You're more likely to gain energy from being in a social aspect, more so than being alone at home. The second one is the observant or intuitive. So this is how we perceive the world around us. So if you're observant, you're more working off the senses, the facts, and the things that are happening around you. If you're intuitive, you're more likely to look at certain situations and the possibility of situations. You're more looking at future possibilities more so than the senses and what's happening right in front of you. The third one is thinker or feeler. So this is how we make decisions, how we cope with our emotions. So thinkers are obviously more logical. They're less emotionally reactive. Where feelers are more, they make decisions off of their feelings, how it makes them feel, and they're more emotionally reactive. The fourth one is judging or prospecting. So this is how we approach our work and planning. People that are judging are more likely to be organized, more likely to plan more. Prospecting are more likely to look at the possibilities, be a little bit more spontaneous, and a little bit more relaxed about planning and structure. Very last one is assertiveness or turbulent, which is how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. So people who are more assertive are more confident. People who are turbulent are more likely to question themselves and be more self-conscious. So what is the purpose of the 16 personalities? So number one, self-awareness. We know that self-awareness is extremely important, and that's the number one goal. Awareness of others and how to communicate with them. It's important that we know how to communicate with other people, the way people are reacting and the way that they're projecting as well, so then we can move our communication style dependent on that person's personality. That allows others to understand you as well and how to communicate with you. So people are able to connect with you a little bit better, understand your strengths and weaknesses so you can play in your strengths and work in your weaknesses. Allows you to find a career and type of work that suits your character as well. Also helps them find the relationships that match your personality, and also the relationships that allow you to grow within your personality type as well. Personal growth, overall improvement of your life. So if you're self-aware, you know who you are, you're going to have an overall improvement of life, because you must know yourself before you create what is congruent to you. So this is from the actual website as well. A lot of people go, okay, well the personality type isn't completely true to me, and that's completely right. And what they say is significant differences can exist even among people who share a personality type. The information on this website is meant to inspire personal growth and an improved understanding of yourself and your relationships, not to be taken as gospel. The idea here is to gain some sense of self-awareness. That's it. And then work on that, inspire personal growth, and an improved understanding of yourself and your relationships. Self-awareness via questioning. So this is the last one. So now we've done your personality type, what we're going to do is we're going to use questioning. So great answers come from great questions. So self-reflection and questioning is by far my favorite exercise to do for self-awareness and self-development. This is used within certain psychology practices like positive psychology, and all successful minds as well use journaling or self-reflection to allow themselves to grow, find out what they're doing good at and what they're not doing so good at, and how to work on that. I've used this myself with my team, and all the clients that we use this with as well have had amazing results. So I have a set of questions for you to fill out in relation to your personality type. The importance of doing these questions is because it forces you to reflect on your results on the 16 personalities. A lot of the time people do the personality test, read through it briefly, they don't take in everything that's within it, and they don't gain that strong sense of self-awareness. So what you must do is use these questions to dive into your personality type, find what is true to you and what isn't true to you within this personality typing, and that will allow you to have a stronger sense of self-awareness. So what we're going to do, these are the 4 steps. Well, 3 steps, last one is you're done. But the very first step is we're going to go to 16personalities.com.au and do the test. Then you can email your results to me. Then click on the link that says click to complete homework questions. Do those questions, and once you've done the above steps, I'll look over the results, send you an email confirming I received everything, and then we could discuss further in your life optimization coaching call on the date and time that we have booked in. So I'll show you how to do that first right now. Go to the members area. This is where we are right now. All you have to do, guys, simply click here for the 60 personalities quiz, and all you do is take the test. Nothing hard at all. Takes less than 12 minutes. Easy as that, guys. As you can tell here, just follow the steps. Don't really need to explain that. I'm sure you guys are smart enough to figure that out. Smash that out. Once you've done that, click to complete homework questions, and this will send you to a Google form sheet. And within this Google form sheet, this will allow you to answer all these questions below. So look at the strengths and weaknesses, romantic relationships, friendships, parenthood, career paths. And these are all sections within your personality type. So if we go into personality types, we'll go into my personality type. So I am a ENFJ, a protagonist. If it clicks it. All right. One sec. Personality types. Protagonist. Here we go. Okay, so as you can tell here, within the questions, strengths and weaknesses. This is the first section. Then there's a section of questions for your romantic relationships. There's a section for your friendships, parenthood, career paths, workplace, and then a summary at the end. So like I said before, this forces you to dive into questioning your personality type to give you strong answers so you have a strong sense of self-awareness. Once you've done that, all you simply do is click submit. And then what I'll do, I'll send you an email back just confirming I've received everything, and then we can just discuss further in our phone call. And that's it, guys. So lastly, massive respect for that. I know how important time is. I know you can't get time back. And I know as entrepreneurs, business owners, and high performers, that time is very valuable to you. And so I have huge respect for those that place the time to take control of their personal life, as you are the most important factor in your business or career. So massive respect for taking the time to do this. And I look forward to taking the phone call with you, and I look forward to changing your life. Much love. Take care, guys. See ya.